Unlocked. My name is Kesterson, and here's the final episode of this. Today, you're going to watch us do a real filming. We've got a background camera, which is what I'm talking to right now, that you're going to see everything behind the scenes as we do it. We're going to explain everything as we go along, what we're doing. We're not going to go into incredible detail because that's what the other videos are for. You can go back, and if you need to know more about microphones, you'll go back to the microphone section. You'll need to know about mic cables, go back to the mic cable section. But I'm going to try to give a little bit tidbits here and there as we go along, things we didn't cover, because of course there's a lot of detail in this. So what we're going to do, we've got an actor, we're going to mic underneath the shirt with a lavalier microphone, because this is a drama, so we don't want to see the microphone. We're going to show what we're going to do with that. I'll tell you right now, we're going to run into problems because it's going to be underneath clothing, and he's wearing a shirt that doesn't allow us, like if he were to wear a sport coat, we could put it underneath the sport coat, or a shirt like mine, we can put it underneath a button. This presents challenges. It's a pretty tight shirt, but we're going to try to put it, we're going to work on putting it somewhere underneath here. It's going to have a muffled sound. In post-production, you can increase that, the treble, to make it sound a little bit more livelier. But we're also going to have a boom mic overhead. We learned about these. So watch us put all this kit together. All right. What we're doing now is we're going to set up the lav mic first. This is Dane Dickman. He's our sound engineer, or in the industry, sound mixer, meaning he's on location. Ata Fusan is our actor today. JP Ferguson is behind the scenes over here. And of course, Dave Dispinette is behind the camera that you're looking at now. So, first thing is to set this lav mic. So, we're going to unplug this. And number one rule before we unplug a mic or plug it in is to go over to the mixer and make sure it's either off or that the channel that it's on is turned down. So the mixer is off now. The reason is plugging in and unplugging causes a surge of electricity, and you can cause a spike, and if he's wearing headphones when that happens, his hearing's gone for the day. Okay, so this is a hardwired mic. It's not a radio mic. I've got a radio mic on. This is a lot easier to use this. This is a Tram 50, and the easiest way to do this is to drop this down the back of his shirt down onto the ground, and then we'll place the mic. So if you want to untuck your shirt in the back, okay, turn around this way. Now at this point, we're going to try to decide where the mic is going to go. I'm going to assume this is a directional mic instead of an omni mic. Most of these mics are omni. These trams, they come in a variety of directional and omnidirectional. Unfortunately, there's no way to tell what they are without plugging in and listening. And we haven't done that on this one, so just to be honest. And we're probably going to set it, we're going to do a temporary fix right here and see how it looks. And I think that might be okay. So I've got gaffer tape. Now this is not duct tape. This is a cloth tape. If you go down to a photo supply store, you spend about 30 bucks, a big roll of this. It's expensive, but it's worth it, and you try to use it in sparingly. But the first thing I'm going to do is build a little shock mount. We went over this in one of the episodes. A little triangle. And this one, actually I'm going to make this one a little bit smaller. So now we have a shock mount, and we're going to place this right inside, making sure I don't cover the mic head too much because it will change the sound. And then I'm going to place this second one right there, and this will give us a little bit. We're going to stick it to your skin, and then we're going to start taping this mic cord down on the inside. That will help alleviate a lot of the handling noise as well. Remember, we talked about a broadcast loop. Then do you have that little clip? Turn around out in the back. We've got this little, got a vampire clip on it, and then we're going to insert the cable into this channel. Now, I'm going to assume that the actor will not turn around and see the back of him, so we're just going to clip that on the inside. And usually the actors are going to be aware that they're wired. They can feel it, but we still have to remind them not to turn around too fast or not to move too fast. Okay, now we're good. So we'll plug in. Now we have chosen the left channel for the lav, just so we can remember. I like to say L equals left and L equals lav. And we're going to run a test. Okay, now you won't hear this yet, but the sound mixer is not plugged into the camera, but he's going to run a test of this. Let's get a close-up over here. He's coming in the left channel, and we're going to turn this up and check it out. We can already see the meter moving. So Atif, what's your line? Or you want to count to 10?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
How's it sound?
Try again.
Yeah, and make sure there's no distortion. Now he's going to isolate on his mixer. He's going to listen to the left channel only, L, because we have this pan to the left, because the lav will go on the left channel of the recorder and the boom will go on the right channel of the recorder. So go ahead and count again.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Clear? Mm-hmm. Clear enough? Mm-hmm. Okay, it's probably muffled a little bit.
Actually, it's pretty clear.
Pretty clean. Hey, that's the magic of a tram mic.
Yeah.
They're specially built for this kind of thing, to put them underneath clothing. The mic I'm wearing doesn't perform so well under clothing. Okay, so the next thing is to set up our boom mic and get this in. So as a sound mixer, you want to go ahead and set up your boom, get the boom ready. As a sound mixer on the set, there's a lot of downtime. If you look at the set as a whole, for instance, they're setting lights, they're actors rehearsing lines, the director's going over this. That is the time as a sound mixer on the set to be checking everything, setting everything up, being ready for any kind of scenario. So we would be setting lights, or the camera operators would be checking focus and setting their, making sure they have enough memory card availability. Now what we're doing here, we went over this in the microphone section. This is a blimp or Zeppelin, and we have to use this minimum outside. We're probably going to throw the dead wombat over it. In some circles it's called a dead cat. This one was made in Australia, so we're going to call it's called a dead wombat. This is a Rode, R-O-D-E, Zeppelin series. We're using an Audio-Technica 8035 short shotgun mic. The short shotgun is good for a variety of applications. It's probably the Swiss tool of shotgun mics, the medium shotgun. You do have some that are pretty long and some that are shorter, but especially outside, the medium and the long shotgun are excellent to use. And we are standing near an intersection. It's We're probably about 300 feet from a major artery behind these buildings, and then we've got this feeder artery right here beside us. It's probably about 25 feet from me, and you're going to hear cars go by every now and then. We can't get rid of the car sounds. We can minimize them. The lavalier will minimize some. The shotgun will minimize some as well. So this is a carbon fiber pole. It allows longer usage, meaning it doesn't get as heavy as an aluminum pole would get. It's a lot lighter, and it also shields a lot of the handling noise. So if he were to have scratchy hands, for instance, I got it. It would eliminate a lot of that sound. When I first started out, we had aluminum poles, and you had to wear cotton gloves with them. And any kind of movement, if your hands started to get weak and you'd shake a little bit, it sounded like thunder. Nowadays, they've got so much good isolation all the way up and down this. You saw when he put it in, it had a shock mount in there, and we talked about those. This is forward facing, so we have to actually aim it at him, and we're going to try to aim it overhead like this. Dane's probably going to want to get further away so that in a real shoot you're going to probably have a wide shot. You want to try to start with the fattest part of the telescoping first and then go to the next one. A lot of people start at the top and pull the skinniest portion out. You don't get as good isolation that way, and it's just more stable when you pull the fatter sections out one at a time. Okay, and he's going to check it now, and we have this plugged in input 2, and both of these, this is a phantom powered mic. The lavalier is also phantom powered, so both of these require extra power, but he's just going to check it real quick. He's listening off to the right channel, and Ataf, why don't you count?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Okay, now, even though these DSLRs are great, there's a lot of virtues with them. Everything is based around the visual. The weak link is the audio, and as we're setting this up and as we've done these presentations for you, it seems like we've always run into some kind of issue with the audio. And part of that is this is consumer-based audio input. It's got a mini jack, an 1/8 inch mini jack. Our mixer has XLR outs. Again, we learned about those. Go back and review what I was talking about. But the other problem is a professional output on this is like a giant fire hose, and the input on this is like a little garden hose. So we have the problem of it over-modulating. We have to set it up, run a tone. We have to lower the output of this so low in order to get this camera over here to be able to get a decent recording that isn't over-modulated. So if you want to look over here, bring this camera, you see we've converted a 1/4 inch stereo plug down to an 1/8 inch stereo plug. We've got it strapped onto here to take some of the load off the connector, but this could fail. This could really fail very easily. So we talked about audio recorders, and this is the great opportunity to rent one or borrow one and get it on your set, because it's going to sound better and you're going to have to deal with these issues. We have a slate that I brought with me, and if you're recording separately or with 2 cameras, but if you're recording your audio separately, you're going to want to bring something like this along. You can make this yourself. You don't even need this. You can use your hands. But the whole object is so that when we snap the slate down, 2 things happen. Visually, you find the frame when in post where this stops, and pause it, and then line the audio up from the separate audio recorder, and you'll see the peak of a snap. It'll be a spike on the audio waveform, and you'll line that up to this exact frame, and then everything from that point should be in synchronization. So that will help you to use a separate audio recording source. There's a lot of places on the internet to describe this. One of the best places to get any kind of this information as a starting point is filmsound.org. That's www.filmsound.org. This is called double system recording, when you have a separate audio recorder from your visual, whether it's film, DSLR, videotape. So let's go on and move over here. Atif, the actor, will be delivering lines. Dane, the mixer, will be holding the boom. He's doing what's called run and gun style. He's got the mixer on a strap so that he can visually see what's going on the meters, holding the boom over the actor and monitoring all the levels. So you can have one sound person do all this. If it requires more than one actor and more than 2 mics, it might be difficult for him to do everything. So you'd have to have a separate person, maybe to hold the boom. But he's going to be in pretty close. The thing he has to look out for as a sound mixer is make sure he's not going to create a shadow. We're not running lights, but we've got the sun overhead. This is probably not ideal for what you'd want to shoot, but audio-wise, it's not ideal either. We're near a street, but we can't close the street off. So you're going to hear, in its naked truth, you're going to hear all the rough audio. So let's go ahead and just practice some lines here and get going. And on the master camera, you're going to hear what it's going to sound like with the lavalier, which is buried right underneath here. The boom is up maybe 2 feet, maybe 2.5 feet from him. We're going to try this out, and if we do a series of shots, a wide shot, medium shot, close-up, he's going to want to try to keep the boom in the same position on all of them. So what are we dealing here? Like a medium shot, JP?
Yeah, it's a medium.
Okay, so we'll try one this way, and then we'll move in and have him do the same lines close up. We're not going to change the audio, so if you cut from one to the other in the middle of a line, it's going to sound the same instead of the microphone following the camera in. The microphone, sometimes you want the microphone to be at the same distance as the camera to give that far away effect or the close-up effect, but we're going to try to do everything stationary today. So let's go ahead and roll, and these are nice to have just in set so that you can mark it. You'd write, scene 1, take 1, and you can snap it if you want. It doesn't make any difference, but if you're doing double system recording, you'd snap. And action.
Okay, now I want to talk about myself. Actually, I'm Egyptian. Before I came here, I had dream about be actor and director in Egypt, but it was so hard for me to get through all this dream. I want to tell you guys about a fun story happened with me in Egypt. I have a friend of mine. He told me about there is website you can get through this website green card, and you can go to United States and get your dream. And by the way, in Egypt we believe about American dream. If you go to America, you will succeed very fast than any another country. Okay, this guy told me.
Okay, now we're going to move in for a medium shot, a little bit tighter here. If you notice over here, Dane is keeping the same distance in between takes. He can move, but he can maybe mark on the ground where his feet are and what distance he is. It's called blocking. We might put tape on the stage, tape on the floor where his feet are and his feet are. As a sound mixer, I always block where I'm at, because if he were to move this microphone about a foot difference, the sound would be wildly different between the takes. So we want to try to keep continuity. The other thing, this is a good opportunity between takes to talk to your actor and say, how you feeling? Is the mic causing you a problem? But also, we're outside. It's about 82 degrees out here. We're in the sun. The microphone is below his shirt. We have a problem with lavalier microphones and condensation or sweat and humidity. So about another 45 minutes to 60 minutes out here and this microphone is going to start to fail, meaning all the condensation collects on the diaphragm. That's the part that the sound hits and makes move to create the sound, electricity. And when that is bogged down with water, it becomes inflexible. So the first thing you'll notice is the treble will start to reduce and it'll start to sound really muffled. So if you hear that, take a break, change microphones, do whatever you need to do, but at least pull the microphone out and start cooling it off. So let's go ahead and we're going to pick up. I interrupted him right in the middle of the story, but we're going to pick it up right after the green card where his friend has a funny story, and we would mark this as scene 1, take 2.
Okay, guys, I want to tell you about the story. I have a friend of mine. He told me about there is a website. I can go through this website and I can get a green card. In the beginning, I told him I'm not lucky. I never get anything like this. I never win anything. He told me just try. And both of us tried and we applied for the green card. Actually, I got the green card and he got nothing. And after that, he told me, you took the lucky from me and they choose you instead me. If you don't apply, maybe they will choose me. And he was fighting with me.
Okay, good. Now, we're going to demonstrate. We have to do another take after this, but I'm going to demonstrate what this sounds like running off the camera mic, the microphone that is built into the camera. It's right there on this Canon, and you're going to hear the difference of what a professional, or at least semi-professional microphones on the set will sound like. And we're going to cut right here and come right back.
And after that, he was fighting with me. He keep telling me, no man, you took the luck from me. I am the one who has to be choosing from them. But after that, he wished me luck. And actually, I came here and I start to my dream to be actor and director. And I hope just in few years I be a famous actor or director. Just remember my face. Maybe you will see me one time and you remember me in this video. Yeah, I saw this guy before, and I hope be famous here and Egypt too.
Sell this later on.
Yeah,
Okay, so now you hear the difference. This is not really a good mic to do this kind of stuff. For ambient material, B-roll, it's great. But you really need to have the microphone in close. So we're wrapping up now. I hope you learned something in this whole entire series. This was the fun part. I know the other stuff was kind of drawl and very technical. But today I hope you learned something, and go back and review some of the other videos once you've seen what's happened today. And what we'd like to do to offer everyone that's watched this, that has plodded through listening to me for all these weeks, I'm going to give you my personal attention. So I'm going to give you an email address that you can direct questions directly to me. I'll try to answer the best I can. But also go on the site and post questions on there. And then Dave will accumulate a bunch of them, and we'll come back in about a month or two and just have a sit down, and I'll answer all the questions on video for you and try to help everyone. I think there's going to be a question that you hadn't thought of and someone else will ask, and you'll say, oh yeah, I wish I would have asked that. So here's the email address to email me directly. I'm going to say it and then spell it. Neil3 3@dxaudio.com. That's Neil, N-E-I-L, the number 3, at D as in dog, X as in X-ray, audio.com. Neil3@dxaudio.com. If you want to go to my website, it's www.dxaudio.com. Check us out. And I want to thank everyone here, Atif, Dane, JP, and Dave, for doing this entire series. Thanks, everyone.